without naming names, I have a major insurance provider that's in our network. They were north of 60% fraud. Now they knew they had
Yikes.
a problem. They knew something wasn't right. If more than half your traffic is not going to perform, yeah, there's a problem. But they didn't know exactly where it was coming from. That was the problem. They were able to track and get ideas of where they were coming from. So they had an idea of where the fraud was coming from generally because they can follow the profitability downstream. But the problem is it's too late. They already paid for the lead. They already paid for certain things. They already expended all those resources to run checks and background checks and credit checks and all this other stuff to evaluate the lead. It's too late at that point. You already paid for it. You already went through the process and all the resources for it. Wouldn't it make sense that up front you knew ahead of time, this is never going to convert? Just don't buy this one, buy the next one. And that's really where the technologies work together to give a client the best bang for their buck. So like I said, when we talk to a client, everything we want to do is real time. We caution people because they may not be ready for the impact of a real time solution, because depending on their volume of leads that are coming in, if they have a finite amount of leads coming in, and also we come and chop off 25%, it's going to hurt. We want them to be able to chop that off at the same time, replacing it with good traffic so that their volume remains constant, their profitability goes up, and they see the value in using the solution.
Absolutely. And I had similar experiences as a buyer that I wish I had known about Anura at the time, dealing with call center operations as a buyer and getting their feedback on, we're calling out, we're getting weird things that are voice recordings that seemingly sound real that aren't real. And, where are you getting this stuff from? But when I was able to optimize, I started getting the phone calls of saying, how do you send us more? How do we get more? So I think it's not only the profitability piece, it's the maintaining the strong relationship with everyone internally across all of those departments that are ultimately going to sell that policy. So I love the solution. If I was a buyer, I would absolutely use it right now. And why, when we're asked, do we know of fraud solutions that we should check out, Anura is one that we absolutely recommend to folks.